Dave, thank you so much for joining us here at DCAT Week 2024. Can you just take a moment to introduce yourself and your company?
Sure, I'm Dave Stevens. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer of Kindeva Drug Delivery. Kindeva Drug Delivery is a global contract development and manufacturing organisation. So yeah, Kindeva is, we're kind of two separate legacies, two organisations put together. First part of the company really focused on advanced drug delivery techniques, predominantly in inhalation. So a carve out from 3M's pharma business. They were pioneers in the metered dose inhalers and been doing that for more than 60 years. On the other half of the company, we put that together with Meridian, who were pioneers in the auto-injector, most popularly known the EpiPen. So they invented the EpiPen device. So we have more than 60 years of experience both on auto-injectors and on the metered dose inhalers. We have a range of other technologies, really interesting drug delivery technologies, such as microneedle patches, so things which are absolutely brand new modalities to help deliver medicine. You know, in the last few years, we've made significant amounts of investment in the organisation. Most recently, a brand new sterile fill finish facility, but we're also investing in the next generation of metered dose inhaler capabilities, known as the green propellants, which are a low carbon version of the existing metered dose inhalers.
Can you talk about the green propellants actually? Because I'm interested to see what your company stands on as far as promoting environmentally friendly solutions, and how does your business prioritize that?
Sure. I mean, it's obviously very important to us. I think a phrase that we use a lot is it's not just what we do, it's how we do things, and we have a commitment to improve all aspects of what we do. I think the most important thing that we're doing is we're enabling the next generation of metered dose inhalers. Currently, they contain obviously a propellant which generates a lot of impact on the world, the climate. So we have committed to significant amounts of investment to generate the next generation of inhalers using green propellants, so low carbon propellants. It's not a small change. The manufacturing capacity needs to be completely changed to handle the new propellants. They have a lot of ethanol, which means you have to have the appropriate containment controls in place to deal with that type of risk. And we're investing a lot of money to redevelop the existing inhalers with a view to making sure that patients continue to have a choice in the future. Obviously, there's various regulations that are coming in to reduce things which impact the climate, and we're on the leading edge of that. I think we will be the first contract manufacturing organisation to offer that capacity, and so we have a real commitment to do our part in the global community.
Now, when we were chatting ahead of this, you mentioned this plant you're opening in the St. Louis area. Can you just talk a little bit about that and why you're so excited for it?
Yeah, we've committed to, we're spending close to $200 million to create a new facility which is just under 200,000 square feet. We will offer cartridges, syringes, vials, sterile medicine to the industry on a contract basis. I'm particularly excited about this. I think it's an enormous investment by Kindeva. There's a few things happening that I think just walking around DCAT this week you will have heard. GLP-1s is obviously a huge driver for the need for more capacity. Sterile medicine, if you look at the pipeline for pharma, more than 60% of the molecules in pharma's pipeline need to be injectable. So there's a big driver in demand for sterile injectable medicine. On top of that, you have a supply issue whereby Annex 1 regulation that's coming in basically stipulates that you need to, where possible, engineer out the operator to minimize the potential contamination of a product, maximize patient safety. So that's kind of the context, that there's fewer and fewer suppliers can meet those requirements. We were able to design a facility from scratch that doesn't just meet the requirements, but we believe future-proofs the facility for the next 20, 30 years. but obviously the most recent Catalent announcement, that's one of our main competitors, that puts more pressure on the sector. So we're extremely excited about what we're doing here. We feel very good about it. I think everyone knows, everyone has family who takes injectable medicine. It's really important that we provide the best possible capacity.
Zooming out a little bit, I want to talk about trends going on in biopharma. What do you see as something that's an undercurrent in the industry that is not being talked about as much as it should be?
I think, I don't know if it's been not being talked about as much as it should be, but I do think personalised medicine or personalised care, I think it's impossible to ignore. I think COVID accelerated some of the trends. I think exposed to some weaknesses in the hospital system. So I think it accelerated some trends whereby, if you think about devices, pre-filled syringes, auto-injectors, I think there's a desire to keep patients as much as possible out of the hospital and physician system in order to reduce costs, increase patient convenience, patient compliance. I think we have a particular focus on some of those areas, and the capacity we're building is really intended to address some of that. I think if you think about things like HIV care, I think companies are looking at ways to create controlled, sustained release products, which means people can they only need an injection 2 or 3 times a year. I think that's a really important trend, and all with a view to really helping patients stay out of the healthcare system to some extent, allow them to take control of their own medicine and healthcare.
Obviously, there's so much always going on in the biopharma space. It's hard to predict where the currents will take us. But if you had to make a bold prediction about where biopharma will be 10 years from now, what would you say?
It's really difficult because I don't think even 2 or 3 years ago people had predicted, certainly hadn't predicted COVID, but if you think of the GLP-1s came from nowhere, I think 2 or 3 years ago people would have said there's no more blockbuster type drugs, and here we are with just a huge opportunity for the pharma industry and GLP-1s. I think if you kind of step back from that, I think we'll continue to see a trend of smaller, more targeted therapies. If you think about mRNA, not mRNA vaccines, but mRNA therapeutics, I think there's a general trend towards smaller patient population targeted therapies, more precise targeted therapies, and using some things like gene therapy, viral vectors, mRNA. I think you'll see a continued trend of these smaller products. What's interesting about that, I think, if you look at a lot of the capacity that's been built, it's built for large populations and high utilization of facilities with very large batch sizes. That causes a bit of a challenge because most contract manufacturing has been set up for large-scale products for commercial. And so I don't know if that's a bold prediction as much as I think that's a reality that the industry's wrestling with a little bit. And yeah, I think you'll see a continued trend. I think it's all a lot. I think it's something like 50% of prescription drugs will be for orphan indications. That's significant, and that really changes the way that medicine is produced. And I think pharma's likely looking at their capacity with that lens. CDMOs have to look at that. So I think that's an interesting trend.
Dave, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our audience?
No, we appreciate the opportunity to talk today. I think Kindeva is probably new for you guys. It's a relatively new CDMO brand in the market. I think what's really interesting when we tell people our story and what we're doing and the investments we're making, it really makes sense in terms of what people need in the market. I think what's really interesting, there's not many CDMOs can claim that they have more than 100 years of cumulative experience across metered dose inhalers, sterile injectables that people haven't heard of. But we're really excited about the next 100 years with what we're building here, and we look forward to seeing what we can do in the next year.
Thank you so much for joining us at this year's DCAT Week 2024.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.